The ship bearing Sioux City's name has arrived, and a local delegation is about to be on its way to Annapolis, Maryland as well. It's all in preparation for the commissioning of the USS Sioux City, and we have a KCAU-9 delegation who just arrived. Our Tim Seaman live tonight from Annapolis. Tim?
Hey, good evening, Jenna, and welcome to Annapolis, Maryland, where the countdown to the commissioning of the USS Sioux City continues. It is a crisp night here in Annapolis. Let me tell you that. We got in town about 7:30 this evening and made our way downtown. We're in what is known as historic downtown Annapolis. You can probably see some of the lights from the strip and the square over my shoulder there. We're just off of the harbor as well. Some yachts that are parked in here along the harbor in downtown Annapolis. And over my shoulder, that's the state capitol building. Annapolis, the first capital in our nation's history. The first capital was formed right here in Annapolis. You know, when Sioux City first learned that this commissioning was going to happen, city leaders were hoping that they could get maybe 100 people to come out to be here on the big day. Turns out there'll be close to 500, if not more, here. And many of them are graduates of the United States Naval Academy. Some also served in the Navy. I had a chance to talk to a couple of them before they headed out. I'm talking about Dan Holzrichter and Dr. Jeff Kellogg, both with a history with the Navy. And I had a chance to talk to them about what makes this whole event so special.
There's the USS Sioux City right here. Last year for Veterans Day, I wore my flight jacket and I had my flight suit on, so all the patients got to see me in my naval flight suit.
Sioux City's Dr. Jeff Kellogg served 8 years in the U.S. Navy and can't wait to return to his roots.
For us to get this is a pretty big deal. The opportunity to go back to the Naval Academy, see the Naval Academy. I was stationed at Bethesda for a little short period of time, Bethesda Naval Hospital. So I'm going to be back there, and I'm going to have an opportunity to show my wife some spots that I've got the chance to see earlier.
And I know how special a commissioning is. It doesn't happen very often. There's only, a few ships every year that are commissioned. I have never seen one, but I've heard everybody that has told me they've been at one has said it's one of the most patriotic events you will ever attend.
Between appointments as a financial advisor, Dan Holzrichter is also finding himself reliving days gone by.
These guys deploy on board a ship for 6 months at a time. They may be out to sea for 60, 70, 90 days in a row, and that's an awful long time to be at sea. And your city, your hometown, and where you went to school and that huge tie come together. Yeah, it's really a significant thing for me.
Holzrichter and Kellogg are just two of many Naval Academy graduates making the trip back to Annapolis.
That's a photo of me in 1985.
And for the hundreds of others who will witness history on Saturday, the two former midshipmen know just how special the trip will be.
Well, the history, I mean, when you look at Annapolis, when the first 13 colonies developed, Annapolis was the very first state capital. And it was in Annapolis where George Washington resigned his commission as general in the Army and said, I'm going to be president, so I can't be general at the same time. That was right there in Annapolis. So
it's neat for Annapolis because even though it's been around since 1845, it's been the Naval Academy. They haven't had a ship commission there at least in 100 years that they've gone back.
Neat doesn't begin to describe the lifelong relationship these men have with the military. The Navy Creed calls for a commitment to excellence and fair treatment of all. That's something Kellogg and Holzrichter say they look to share as long as the USS Sioux City is at sea.
So that was one of the things I thought about when I heard about the USS Sioux City and the commissioning, that it really is a lifetime, the lifetime of the ship, that we will be connected with that ship and hopefully helping it and having a great rapport with them.
And just like those gentlemen, we can't wait to follow along and bring you the story of the commissioning of the USS Sioux City. We get our first look at the ship tomorrow. In fact, we will be on board tomorrow. We're going to be given a tour of the vessel, LCS 11, as it's known right now. Of course, it will become the Sioux City on Saturday after it's commissioned. So we'll have that for you tomorrow night, a look inside the ship, what makes it so special. The Commander, Randy Malone, giving us a tour. We'll have a chance to talk with him and other members of his crew. So make sure you look for that coming up tomorrow at 6 and 10 as we continue to broadcast live here from Annapolis, Maryland, and the United States Naval Academy. It's going to do it for tonight. It's brisk. We're going to head home, and make sure you watch for more reports throughout the week. With Chief Photographer Jonathan Mack, Tim Seaman, KCAU 9 News.
Have a great time. Tim looks beautiful there despite the cold. Tim will have coverage leading up to Saturday. And if you'd like to watch the commissioning, you can do so live at 8 a.m. Saturday morning by logging onto our website, that's SiouxlandProud.com, or our Facebook page.